Hey guys, Adam with BizNexus. Today I had a really informative chat with Daniel Sheppard from MedWorld Advisors. We covered some fascinating points, unique challenges of healthcare M&A, why having a specialized expertise is so critical in that industry specifically. Daniel also shared how MedWorld Advisors uses collaboration partners to really enhance the sell-side process, which I thought was pretty interesting. I think very few sell-side intermediaries who I've come across use a process like this, so it's worth a listen. And whether it's creating, reviewing confidential investment memorandums, making sure they've got backup buyers ready if something falls through, MedWorld will use collaboration partners before they take the engagement, during the engagement, to bulletproof their deal, so to speak. So he walked me through how this approach helps to de-risk deals for MedWorld and for their clients, and even shared some really specific case studies of success stories where the strategy made all the difference, and how, if you're running a brokerage and you'd like to use a strategy like this, you can do that as well. So quick plug for today. If you're not familiar with us, if you're not familiar with BizNexus, be sure to check us out. Just go to biznexus.com. For the solo acquirers, we have a marketplace, thousands of deals, more than most, and vetted. So it's an approved access only marketplace. Get in there. We usually approve you within 24 hours, and we update those deals daily. We also have a community where you can network with people like Daniel, the MedWorld team, to search by keyword, or the AI suggestions will actually take care of that for you. So if you're focused on medical and Daniel pops up, or Flo or Dave or Estelle or anyone from the MedWorld team, that's going to be because the AI is matching you based on sub-industry. So worth taking a look. The really innovative solution that we're most active with these days is OmniSource, and that's our deal sourcing platform that we built for corp dev teams, family offices, private equity groups. It combines all of the deal flow for your mandate into on-market, off-market targets, and puts it all into one very clean user experience. We're actually at the $6 billion mark in terms of committed capital that we're helping to deploy for our partner and concierge members with OmniSource. And we've been opening up that slowly to individual repeat acquirers. I think through 2025, we're going to be doing more of that. But if you're interested in a demo, just schedule that directly from BizNexus, top right of biznexus.com, schedule a demo, or visit omnisource.ai, and you can do it right from there. So we're just getting back to this whole podcast thing. So please, if you like it, spread the word, give us a review, something, so we know we can keep putting the effort in, clear conscience. Anyways, that's it for the promotion. Let's get into the podcast. Disclaimer from the always present legal team: podcast conversations don't necessarily reflect the views of BizNexus Incorporated. Everything you hear is informational news and updates from around the industry. We're not recommending any investments. We're not offering any investment advice. Be sure to do your own homework. All right, Daniel Sheppard, MedWorld Advisors. Thank you for coming in today.
Hi, Adam. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, always great to have you. We're kicking up the BizNexus Roundup again. You guys were early supporters, and we'll definitely have you on an ongoing basis, mainly because you're niche, which we're going to get into. But you've always been great, so definitely appreciate you taking the time to show up and participate here.
Anytime.
Awesome. So if you're not familiar with the BizNexus Roundup, that is our podcast, BizNexus, and we try to focus on interviewing niche advisors, niche M&A professionals who can share kind of a tidbit from the trenches with their particular sub-industry. And so Daniel works with MedWorld Advisors, and they are very focused on healthcare. And we have him on today to talk about the benefits of running a specialized advisory practice, pros and cons of going so niche, and then also one aspect of their sell-side process, the MedWorld process. As we've been working with MedWorld for years, and I've gotten to know the entire team, you use collaboration partners at various steps of the sell-side process. And I thought that was really interesting when I first heard about that. And then as you guys dug into it, I realized just how differentiated that practice is from the majority of advisors out there. I've honestly never really heard of anybody else doing it the way you guys do it. So you were kind enough to share some of that secret sauce with MedWorld on the podcast today, and I really appreciate it. So
I think with healthcare, it makes a big difference, Adam. So look forward to sharing some more information.
Yeah. I think it's fascinating, especially once you get into the sim production and everything else that you guys do. So we'll dig into that. But Daniel is a globetrotting M&A advisor, so we're really happy to have him locked down for today. And Daniel, why don't you just kick it off by telling us a little bit about MedWorld, and in particular, you and the team, and how you got into this niche, how you became such a specialized advisory firm, maybe about your bona fides and your background, the team background.
Yeah, I mean, just starting from the high level view, and I think, the people that founded MedWorld Advisors would say that they've always been in this niche, coming from the corporate development arms and kind of your C-suite positions at notable strategics, healthcare strategics like Medtronic and Draeger and really those types of companies, and just have done deals for the large strategics for a couple of decades, and really saw every time that they were going to acquire a company in the lower middle market or an early stage company, they would come with their big teams of experts and really overwhelm the smaller companies. So they really saw the opportunity to go and help the companies in lower middle markets, help early stage companies that could use industry expertise and support when running M&A transactions or exiting their business. And that's why they really jumped to the other side of the table to help the smaller guys when selling to the larger strategics and also private equity firms. And that's really the nexus for why my MedWorld Advisors was founded.
Got it. And you're a family team. So
we are.
Tight-knit team.
Yep. Had to test that out to make sure we wouldn't kill each other before jumping on full time. But it's been great. Almost 10 years now. And
it seems to be working well so far. I mean, I've always thought that going niche is really the way of the industry moving forward, right? Everyone's niching down. Things become increasingly competitive, whether it's advisory or private equity. Everyone's trying to get into that interesting sector, subsector, and specialize, because that's what you have to do to stand out. And for me, you guys, all of you, the entire team, really, you represent a model for that type of success in this industry. If you had to kind of give us some examples of what do you think the benefits are of specializing like this as an advisory practice, if you could touch on some of those pros.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the question. And sometimes it's hard for us to answer because we're living in this day to day. I almost find it harder to be outside of these niches. But like when you're really just focused on healthcare, and healthcare is one of the most specialized industries out there. I really feel like if you're going to be in healthcare, you've got to be focused on it. And even us, we're focused within healthcare on, really just our main verticals, which are those outside of pure pharma. And I think really having the executives that have come from large healthcare strategics, as well as having industry collaboration partners that can come support us on deals, we really help to understand the ins and outs of what make deals successful and all the components that help make operations at healthcare companies successful. So we're able to tie those two together when we're in a process to help make those successful transactions.
Got it. And you're out there, I mean, you guys are really on site. I mean, you're traveling, you're going to all these industry conferences. It's a global networking job that you have. And you're really traveling kind of 50% of the time out there.
I'm going to be in Minnesota in 2 weeks. I'm going to be at the health conference in a couple of weeks after that. And then next month, I'll be at my annual trip to Germany for the Medica conference, which is the largest medical device conference every year. So we feel it's really important for us to be out there on the circuit, both connecting with the large strategics, which we have routine check-ins with, trying to see what the new innovations are, and really just go out in there. And it's a relationship business. So you really need to be out there meeting people and understanding the trends that are the new companies, new products that are coming out to really understand the healthcare industry.
Got it. Yeah. And I'm asking really to set up the whole collaboration partner discussion, because you've got your network just through your background, through MedWorld's background in the industry, but then you're out there and you're doing that networking, you're doing the networking with the specialists, and you're constantly looking to build up that network of collaboration partners that you leverage as part of the MedWorld process. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us, what is that? What's a collaboration partner? And once you kind of define that, how you like to use them, let's start with your sell side process, just what you're doing with collaboration partners during those major stages of the sell side process.
Yeah, we feel the collaboration partners are really unique and really a value add to our processes. They help to provide really our collaboration partners. We think of them as industry experts, right? And they're our segment experts. So we have a segment expert that we work with in the digital health. We have segment expert for certain contract manufacturing processes that we run. We also have some segment experts that work within different verticals of medical device, whether it's cardiovascular or otherwise. And really just bringing that knowledge that they have from working with large healthcare or medical device strategics. They have a unique kind of viewpoint on how a company should be positioned when approaching those strategics or approaching a company, an acquirer, and trying to set the company up to be as attractive as possible. So there's lots of little ins and outs in how we do that, but essentially, the collaboration partners are one piece of how we help to set up a successful process.
Got it. And so you're really looking to identify those specialists along the way who can help you, who can help contribute to the sell side process, particularly with sim production and your diligence teardown, which I thought was fascinating. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that. At what point do you identify which collaboration partners you want to bring in? At what point do you actually bring them in, and where are they collaborating the most with you on the sell side process?
Yeah, I mean, it can depend process by process. So, I mean, every process is unique. Actually, one of our founders says every process is a snowflake. They're never shaped the same. So it really can depend on who we're partnering up with. But we see the first portion of the process as really the most important part of the process. It's the foundation for having a successful process. And we, both from our expertise, from our founders' expertise, as well as bringing our collaboration partners to bring in their unique viewpoints and expertise to really go in and we work with our clients to try to de-risk the process. So both from first, we put on our buyer hats because we've been through a lot of these processes and we know what buyers are looking for. So we, at the beginning of the process, will try to identify a good portion of those things without putting you through an exclusive diligence process. We'll try to identify any kind of yellow flags that might raise questions down the road by buyers so that we're positioning in the right way and not slowing down the process when we get there. And then also, of course, a big component, as you mentioned, Adam, is the SIM, or confidential information memorandum. And that's just generally a big book that we're providing to buyers once they've executed an NDA that gives them all the information they would need to know about the company they're looking to acquire. And so when we're setting up that book, which can be 60, 70 pages long, we use our collaboration partners to help provide that segment expertise and to help that SIM resonate with the latest trends, growth projections, and make sure there's nothing that's sticking out that's going to, when we give this to a potential strategic acquirer, that we're going to be setting it up in the right way.
Interesting. And so your collaboration partner could be a specialist, industry executive, or it could be, if you're selling some sort of medical device product, it could be an end user of the product, whether that's a physician or maybe even a medical device sales rep. And you're really looking for someone who has their hands on the use of that product in that case, and they could just flesh it out with you in an in-person teardown or an online teardown. That's kind of who you're leveraging to really get the nitty-gritty with the sim production.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we have kind of broad strokes of collaboration partners, and it really is unique to the deal that we run. Some are as you said, some are MDs or doctors, and some are engineers and are more experts in product development, and it kind of can run the range. And having that kind of fleet of collaboration partners or industry experts helps us when we take on the unique healthcare companies that we represent in our transaction.
Yeah, so you're really defining the value of the sell side transaction to a potential buyer. But then you're also kind of doing this pre-diligence, right? Where every buyer has their diligence team. Every buyer is going to bring in the experts to tear the deal apart. You're doing the same on the front end during the production of the sim for the benefit of your client as a sell-side advisor. Is that fair?
That's fair. I mean, what's the number one thing everybody wants out of an M&A process? They want it to be as competitive as possible, right? They want as many buyers that are lining up to try to drive up the valuation. And when we help to set up the value proposition in the beginning on the sim in tandem with our collaboration partners, and then our collaboration partners also work with us as we go and have initial conversations with buyers. What we really feel like that does in the long run is it helps to relay the correct or the most attractive value proposition for a strategic acquirer or for a PE firm that is focused on healthcare. We're able to relay that value perception better than other bankers that maybe don't have the same healthcare expertise. And so in the end, because we can relay that value proposition a little bit better than others, we feel like we're able to bring on more buyers to the bidding portion of the process, to where you start to see what their offers are. And when you have more buyers in a competitive process, generally speaking, that's when you see the best valuation.
Yeah. And I think being niche and networking a small universe as you do so heavily, I think that is helpful in terms of knowing who that next buyer might be. So if a deal falls through and you really know who's looking for what, and you've got that short list of buyers who you have the established relationship with. It's not like you're a generalist advisor who's going to go out there and try to put two and two together and find a new buyer for a deal. You typically have an engaged buyer shortlist. Once you get into LOI, I'd imagine you'd be ready in case something goes wrong through the deal process, which, it happens, right? It's M&A.
It happens. And just as you said, I mean, that's why we run a competitive process to where usually the lead buyer is pretty incentivized by all the other people that were involved to avoid any potential retrading or any shenanigans. But then also just, it helps in the end with both strategic and financial acquirers, because they're having the short list of people that are focused on healthcare and focused on the segments that are specific to the clients we represent. You aren't. It's not often that we're selling to generalists. These are mostly people that are really focused on specific segments of healthcare.
Got it. You mentioned earlier on about de-risking the deal, right? You kind of led off with that. So could you speak to the value of collaboration partner network in de-risking the deal? I mean, do you have any case studies or specific examples of where you see that coming into play?
Yeah, I think as I mentioned, when you get to the end of a process, Adam, as I think but maybe not every owner looking to sell knows, is that when you get to the end and you agree to a price with your one exclusive acquirer, you're going to go through 2 to 3 months of diligence. We call it confirmatory diligence. It's similar to when you buy a house and you want to see the inspection reports. They're going to kind of, once you decide on what the right price is, you're going to go through and you're going to check all the boxes. You're going to bring in the legal teams, the HR teams, and you're going to make sure everything is as was stated throughout the process. Well, because we know that that's coming, we begin kind of identifying some of those things in the beginning of the process and asking some of those questions to help smooth out that diligence process in the end. One, to help that go quicker and more efficiently, because we've been preparing that from the beginning. But two, also to help us we know what's going to raise additional questions in diligence, right? So we're able to position those things in the right way or be prepared for those questions when we get there. So it just makes that process a lot more efficient. And also it de-risks the ability for a potential acquirer to come in and try to retrade the valuation or walk away because they received some information that they didn't think was there when they agreed to the LOI offer.
Got it. And so for other advisory practices that are thinking of doing this, right? I mean, you have this systematized. So when you're going out there and you're competing for engagements and you're talking to business owners, potential sellers, this is part of your process. You're building up this network on an ongoing basis as you network, as you're globetrotting the industry conferences. What would you say to advisors who don't have something like this in place and are looking to niche down and want to put this into practice? When are you introducing this to a potential seller? Is it in the introductory conversation? Is it actually in your pitch materials when you're trying to win an engagement? And how would an advisor go about implementing this?
Yeah, generally speaking, I mean, we have our collaboration partners based on the relationships that we've built over kind of decades of being in the industry. Usually we are introducing our collaboration partners to our clients before our engagement, right? We want our client to understand who the team is that they're going to be working with throughout the process. We don't like it when some bankers show up with sell you on one team and then give you another when you want to process. Who you meet in the beginning is who's going to be running it. So our collaboration partners work with us to try to win our engagements. And oftentimes we feel like that helps to represent our brand even a little bit better because of the expertise that we bring. So as early as possible, I would say is when you would want to engage an industry expert to help you and make sure that you're looking at that segment, that vertical, or that product.
Got it. Really interesting. So for any advisors who might have questions about leveraging a collaboration network or putting that into place, or for any owners who are interested in this process who might want to reach out to MedWorld and have a discussion about it, where can we find you, Daniel?
Yeah, Daniel at MedWorld Advisors. Please feel free to reach out. And, as I mentioned, I'm always traveling to different conferences and love just being a part of the healthcare industry. It's really never too early to have a conversation. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you just want to have a casual conversation, even if you're thinking 3, 5, 10 years down the road. Always happy to have that conversation.
Perfect. And we're going to keep digging into little niche tidbits from the healthcare industry, and we're going to keep roping you back in on this. So we appreciate you taking the time today, Daniel. Thanks again. We'll see you next go round.
All right. Look forward to it, Adam. Thanks.
All right. Take care. Bye.